Theodore Lucky, this 43-year-old suspect, leaves us puzzled. At one point, he's sobbing in the interrogation room. At another, he's smirking and blowing a mocking kiss at the victim's family after his sentencing. It's like seeing two completely different people. Though he's never been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, his split personality is as puzzling as it is disturbing. The story takes a chilling turn when you learn about his past. Let's rewind to 2009 to uncover the roots of this peculiar man and the twisted journey that led him here. In 2009, Theodore, an openly homosexual man, suffered a painful breakup. Crushed by his partner's absence, he invited his ex-boyfriend on a trip to Atlantic City to clear his mind. During the drive, they stopped at a roadside motel where Theodore asked if he could tie his ex to the bed. The ex-boyfriend agreed, but once he was securely bound, he saw a dramatic change in Theodore's demeanor. A deep sadness consumed Theodore, and he left the motel, leaving his ex-boyfriend helplessly tied to the bed as he contemplated taking his own life. As he left the motel, Theodore was looking for a secluded place to execute his plan to take his own life, but he couldn't find one. Instead, he broke into the home of an elderly couple and held them hostage. The woman offered him money, jewelry, and credit cards, confusing him with a robber. Theodore, however, refused and locked the doors and windows, and then disconnected their phones to isolate them. Yet he also showed a gentler side by serving the couple a frozen meal when they mentioned hunger. Despite feeding them, Theodore's mood darkened. After leading the couple upstairs and locking them in a room, he retreated to the garage where he intended to end his own life. These contrasting behaviors, a caretaker on one hand, a hostage taker on the other, show the complexities of his character. Fortunately, the 87-year-old man managed to escape and called 911, resulting in Theodore's arrest before he could end his life. But this is not the reason he was sitting in the interrogation room. After his arrest in 2009, Theodore was sentenced to 15 years in prison in 2012. In 2016, he was transferred to Concord, New Hampshire. During his time in prison, his life took a significant turn. The details of this life-changing event will be revealed soon in the video. Coming back to his prison time, the Department of Corrections reported that he was released from prison on parole supervision on May 7, 2021, after serving 12 years and 1 month due to the pandemic. This included the time he spent in custody in New Hampshire from October 11, 2016 to February 5 of 2021. After his release, Theodore went to New Jersey and began a new life as a baker in a local bakery. So how did he end up in the interrogation room once again? Let's find out. On August 21, 2021, New Hampshire law enforcement received multiple distress calls from Country Inn & Suites in Bedford. When responders reached the scene, they found not just one, but two bodies from the hotel. One with 120 stabs from a machete, and the other strangled to death. Given Theodore's background, it's clear he had a knack for impulsive behavior. But when he was implicated in 2 murders on the same day, it raised serious concerns. Let's dive into how and why he carried out these brutal killings with such ruthless intent.
What happened tonight? We'd love you to kind of start us from start to finish, and then we can kind of go back into it, and I'm going to try to answer questions for you.
Answer that.
Are they both dead?
Yeah.
One person is deceased. We know that.
Which one?
We don't know names right now. What would really help us is there another person? Who's this other person?
Which one is deceased?
Like I said, we don't know the names. So Chris and I are over here. We're not over there. I don't have a picture of him. Things are happening kind of quickly. So if you think you can kind of help us save somebody, we'd really appreciate that. Is there another person we should be looking for?
Yeah, where's?
Is he in a hotel room somewhere?
Yeah.
Do you know which floor, which hotel room?
Wait a minute. You said one person is deceased?
One person's deceased, yeah.
Was that the one that was in the lobby?
I don't know. Like I said, we want to sit and we want you to kind of explain things to us. That's why we're here. You know, you're the person, you're the important person right now that's going to be able to fill in these things for us. So
you just have to tell me which one, and
I'll tell you. I guess the lobby. But I don't know. I don't want to give you.
Got it.
I don't want to give you any bad information.
You gotta tell me which one.
Well, it was. Are they both men? Is it one different than the other? Can you help me out?
No, they're not. They're both men.
They're both men. So one man's deceased. That's all I know, and I don't want to say which one it is because I don't know. And that's the God's honest truth. I wouldn't blow smoke at you. I don't know.
Where'd you find the body at?
I don't know. We're not over there.
We're so
If you-
early in this right now.
If you want me to answer anything, tell me where you found the body.
It's so
That's
difficult.
it.
We can't figure out where the body is. I'm sitting over here. I'm here with you trying to get all this information. This is the important stuff. So is there a body in the lobby?
If you're saying someone's deceased,
In the lobby.
what am I being charged with?
I haven't said you're being charged with anything. I think what would help us is if we just kind of started at the beginning and tried to understand what happened here. And that's what I think you were the important person here to tell us that. Were you staying at the hotel?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Were you there by yourself?
No.
Okay. Who else were you there with?
One of my friends.
Okay. All right. What's his name?
Nathan Cash.
For more context, 28-year-old Nathan Cashman was the one stabbed 120 times. While Theodore was in Concord, New Hampshire, serving his time from 2016 to 2021, he met Nathan and they instantly clicked. Nathan was also serving time for a separate charge. Theodore and Nathan shared the same prison cell and eventually fell in love with each other. But why would he kill someone he once loved? It's unsettling to see how composed Theodore appears as he discusses his two victims during the interrogation. He takes it even farther by negotiating with the detectives. Without context, you might struggle to tell who is interrogating whom.
It was weird because we were in a relationship. We've been dating for over 3 years. And he told me he loved me. I told him I loved him. He told me he wanted to marry me. He wanted me here. And when I picked him up from the sober house, I parked outside and I went and knocked on the door. He opened the door. I wanted to hug him, but I didn't want to do it in front of the people that lived his roommate.
Sure.
I'm not sure whether they knew about him.
Yeah.
He didn't know it, but his birthday. I wanted to surprise him at a surprise birthday party. So I left in the hotel and before I left, I asked him if he wanted any of his friends to come to the restaurant with us.
Sure. Yeah.
Say, yeah, this friend, Momo. We went and picked him up. Went back to the hotel. And then I left. And I went to the store and I got him balloons. And happy birthday balloons.
Yeah.
I had already bled him some clothes and stuff. And I got 4 gift bags. And put the balloons in the car. And I went back to my hotel. My 2 friends helped me wrap the presents and put them into the gift bags. And tie the balloons to the gift bags. And,
Sounds like you went all out. Sounds like you're doing everything that a relationship requires.
he wasn't.
He wasn't invested in it.
He lied to me.
Throughout their relationship, Theodore showed immense generosity and support towards his partner, Nathan. He spared no expense in showering Nathan with gifts and financial assistance even after Theodore was released and Nathan remained incarcerated. Theodore made sure Nathan had everything he needed upon his release, from brand new clothes and shoes to a substantial sum of money to settle his prison debts. However, during this part of the interrogation, Theodore's tone shifts to one of betrayal and disappointment. Despite his efforts to be the provider and show his love, things didn't turn out as he had hoped. Was it another one of his heartbreaks?
And then Monday, everything seemed fine. Tuesday, everything seemed fine. So around about Wednesday or Thursday, he didn't. He started acting differently. And I asked him, I said, did something bad happen? And I was just about to go in. I gotta get my hair cut every Friday. And I was just about to go in and get my hair cut, and I got a text from him. And he said he was breaking up.
Is that this Friday, a couple days ago?
Not yesterday.
So a week ago?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. Okay. So he texted you over your cell phone?
I just started crying.
Sure.
I said, why? That's when he told me he had slept with some girl.
Theodore was taken by surprise when Nathan chose to end their relationship. He traveled all the way from New Jersey to New Hampshire, filled with excitement to introduce Nathan to his friends and reunite with the love of his life. However, the breakup dealt his ego a harsh blow, especially in the presence of friends to whom he had spoken so highly of Nathan. But he had been rejected before, and he had had heartbreaks before. So what led him to commit a crime that defies humanity?
He said he loved me. And he said he wanted to get married. And he said he wanted me to move up here. And then just out of nowhere,
Just hits you in the gut. Just takes the wind right out of you.
I didn't get a haircut. I walked in and I gave my barber $40. And I told him I can't get a haircut right now. And I walked outside. I called him and he wouldn't answer. I said, please answer. And he answered. And it was almost like he was a totally different person. And I was crying. and asking him why. And the answers were just all very short. I didn't know what to do. I held it in. I held it in because my mother, I didn't know it at the time, but before we drove up for his birthday, she said, she texted my best friend Trevor. It's out of the blue. And she said that Nathan didn't want to be with her. She doesn't talk to him.
Right. She might have just been looking out for you. You know, I don't know. It's tough to hear.
She knew nothing. She didn't talk to him. I didn't tell my mom about my relationship because my mom doesn't fully accept my sexuality, which sucks. So, all she knew was that we were going on a road trip to see Nathan. And she said that he didn't want to be with him.
Theodore was quite invested in his relationship and was quite sure about Nathan. His response to Nathan's rejection escalated beyond his control. He might have been seeking compassion or sympathy, which Nathan refused to offer, potentially triggering Theodore's violent tendencies. On top of that, Theodore's own mom not accepting his sexuality and him leaning heavily on his friends for support paints a pretty clear picture.
I could not believe what he did to me. And for all of my friends that I told the whole story, they hate him and they think he's a douchebag. Before he got out, I made sure that there was money on his account every week so he could max out his commissary. He ran up drug debts. And I paid those drug debts to Western Union just so he wouldn't get in trouble. He wanted money on his phone, put money on his phone. I took care of him. I love him. Before he got out, he wanted an outfit. He said, I want red sneakers. Same sneakers he had on today.
You bought him the red sneakers?
And I bought him a red Nike shirt. And I bought him some black Levi's. And after I bought everything, I went to the post office and I overnighted it to make sure it was there. Right. And
you know, you're invested in him not only emotionally but financially with everything that you have.
Everything.
So what was the mood when you saw him today? How were you received? What happened?
He really likes Dr. Pepper. So before he moved out of the sober house, I bought him a tiny little cooler, a Coca-Cola cooler. It looks like a refrigerator, but it holds 6 cans of soda and you plug it up And I bought him 2 8-packs of of Dr. Pepper so I can give them to him.
After pouring so much love and care into the relationship, Theodore came to see that it didn't matter to Nathan at all. To Theodore, it seemed like Nathan had just been using him for his own benefit. When Nathan got out of prison and had a chance to start fresh, he didn't want Theodore around anymore. Even though Nathan had promised to marry Theodore and build a life together, he disregarded it all once he was out. Being manipulated in the name of love is one of the worst feelings, and you can hear in Theodore's voice in the clip just how disgusted he was by it all. Now, as we gain clarity in the aspects that led Theodore to take away the life of his lover, let's learn about the second victim and why he had to commit another murder.
Wrong time, wrong place. I told him about Nathan.
Yeah.
Dave thought that him and I wouldn't be together.
Yeah.
I told him about Nathan. And I told Dave that I was hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And I told Dave I didn't want to hurt him. And I said, I wish that I could leave you in the room like tied to the bed. But because I told you everything, you let get and tell everyone. And I didn't know what was going to happen with Nathan one way or another. I didn't know. I know that I was hoping that things would change. Because I just didn't understand.
So you're in the hotel room with Dave, and how is he, he's bound to the bed or tied to the bed?
Yeah.
Okay. And is he able to, like, manipulate?
No.
He can't do anything?
No.
Okay. And did he do that sort of voluntarily, or was that something that you decided to do?
David, well, more so now, he likes the whole SM and bondage type thing. And he was under the impression we were going to have.
Okay. So he thought there was going to be some sort of bondage situation. So he's in, what did you use was it duct tape as well?
Like, it wasn't duct tape. It wasn't gray.
Oh, okay. What was it?
It was like plastic tape. I mean, like
Clear
tape.
Okay.
And cords from the hotel.
Cords. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's...
And
go ahead and start going.
After I tied him up, I sat at the end of the bed and I told him I didn't want to be with him. So I wanted to be with Nathan.
Yeah.
And I told him, I don't know what's going to happen. But I said, well, if things go south, I knew what I was going to do. And and then I told Dirty King, I said I didn't want to hurt him. And I told I wish he would just stay in the room.
Yeah.
And I thought about leaving him there, and I said, no, he's gonna get out.
You didn't want him to get out?
No.
You mentioned you didn't want him to say what you had said about Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I used the tape and I taped it around his face.
Oh, did you put anything in his mouth, or was it
No.
just tape?
Tape.
And did you kind of like wrap it around his whole head
Yep.
a couple times, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, were you still in the room when he stopped moving, or did you leave, or how did that go down?
I left.
You left.
I left.
Was he able to make any noises, or kind of free himself?
No, I didn't hear any noises. And I went and picked up Nathan.
Okay.
In the back of my mind, it was that I knew that Dave wasn't breathing anymore.
David Hanford, also known as Dave, was one of Theodore's ex-lovers and the second victim. He had driven Theodore from New Jersey to New Hampshire to meet Nathan one last time after the breakup. Quite ironic, isn't it? Theodore had already obtained a machete before planning his trip to New Hampshire. Although he revealed his intention to kill Nathan to Dave during their journey, Theodore wasn't sure about David's loyalty and him keeping his mouth shut. Here's what's concerning. When you listen to or look at Theodore as a person talking about life, you might think he's a soft-spoken gentleman with no ounce of violence in his bones. Yet, here he is talking about how he duct-taped David and strangled him to death while he was tied to the bed.
Saying what?
About me and Nathan.
About what you were going to do to Nathan?
Well, I felt like suicidal and homicidal.
Yeah.
The way I felt.
Sounds to me like you kind of, this was going and spiraling in that direction. You saw that and you knew this wasn't going to end well.
I hoped.
Like you said, you were praying that things would work out well.
Honestly, I hoped that he would change, and like we were laying in the bed and he's like, this feels weird. And I said, oh. Said he feels like are. I don't. In the hotel room, I don't know how it started, but I know that I remember grabbing the knife and he was going out the door, and I'm not sure is it like when he was going out the door at first. I don't know if I hit him that first time, but I know he ran down the hall. He ran down the hall and he got to the end of the hall and he couldn't go anywhere else. And I started hitting him with the knife.
And why couldn't he go anywhere? Was there an elevator bay there, or there was no stairs? Or?
I think there were stairs, but I just don't think. Yeah. Was it a panic?
Yeah. And again, just so I understand, when you say hitting with a knife, it's coming down in like a slashing, kind of cutting motion. That's like,
like as if you're holding a hammer and you're hitting a nail.
Gotcha. And I know I asked you earlier. I said, well, what were you hitting? Like hands, arms?
Everywhere.
You were
everywhere.
What were you trying to hit?
Anything.
Okay.
And he got past me. He started running down the hall, and I ran after him. And I think he got to the end. At some point, he went to grab a fire extinguisher. And I hit him with the knife, and he couldn't grab it. And then he ran downstairs. Thank you. He ran downstairs to the second floor. And we were on the second floor, and people were coming out of their rooms. And I was just hitting them with the knife whenever I can, whenever I could. Then he got to the end of the hallway, and he tore the screen off on the window and jumped out the window. And he landed on the bushes. And I ran downstairs. And I could see him trying to get into someone's car, but it was locked. Then I started to chase him again. He went to the lobby. And he went into like a back room in the lobby. And I just kept hitting him with a knife. And I just kept hitting him whenever I could. And then we went to a back room, and he tried to grab something and hit me with it. I don't know what it was. And then he ran out of the room, and he tried to like lock me in the room. And he's holding the door, and I'm pulling, and he's pulling. And finally, I get out the door, and that's when he goes to the front desk, behind the front desk. And he's behind the front desk. That's when I keep hitting him with the knife like several times. I was hitting everywhere. And that's when he started yelling out that he loved me. All I asked him for, I tried to accept it. And I told him, I said, hey, listen, this was days before this happened. I said, I know that things are changing, okay? But please, you're hurting me like big time. And whenever we're talking on the phone, he started yelling. And I start crying. I beg him, like, please, just think about, just please put yourself in my shoes, please. And then he would continue to yell at me. And it hurt. So when he was behind the desk and he couldn't go anywhere else, and he started yelling that he loved me, no. Because if you love me, you never would have did this. You love me, you never would have lied to me the way you did. You love me, you never would have dragged this out the way you did. You love me, you never would have broke up in a text message. Okay? If you love me, you never, oh, I'm in a relationship. Literally. It was Friday the 13th he broke up with me. He posted it on the 16th. So, 3 days later, I'm in a relationship. Yeah? That quick? Yeah, that shows me just how much you love me. all of that was burning in the back of my head. All of it was burning in the back of my head. I couldn't believe it.
There's a saying that it takes a lot of love to hate someone. Well, then, we can't comprehend the depth of the love Theodore had for Nathan to stab him 120 times. In this section of the interrogation, Theodore confesses that towards the end of his attack, Nathan screamed that he loved Theodore, but Theodore knew better. The feeling of rejection and betrayal is evident in his tone. He was determined with his plans and didn't doubt his decision for a second as he kept on chasing Nathan to ensure that he died at his hand. Avenging his broken heart, Theodore didn't hesitate to complete what he had started, and he seems quite content with what he did. There is no remorse that can be seen in this man. On November 7th, 2022, Theodore Lucky admitted guilt to first-degree murder charges.
I stand in this court today taking full responsibility for what I did.
He confessed to purposefully causing the death of Nathan Cashman, 28, by hacking him to death with a machete. Additionally, he confessed to a second count of first-degree murder for killing David Hanford, 60, by suffocation while he was tied to a bed. Theodore was sentenced to life without parole on the same day. As he left the court, Theodore blew a kiss to the victim's family, adding a disturbing layer to his mental state. From love to betrayal, affection to violence, Theodore's journey forces us to question the fragility of human emotions. Was it unmet expectations, rejection, or loneliness? His story reminds us of the delicate balance between love and despair, trust and betrayal. In Theodore's tale, we find a sobering lesson about the deep-rooted nature of human emotion and the swift turns life can take. Tell us how you feel about this case and add in your suggestions in the comment section below. For more such content, like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Real Crime Psychology.